Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the Story Rift. Yeah, I changed my name from MattTheWitcher to the Story Rift. I thought that would just, I don't know, that fit the channel a little bit better. Today's video is going to be about my experience with stories, I guess. When I say stories or storytelling in this video, what I mean is just like books, movies, and anything that like fiction-wise that tells a story. If that makes sense. I don't know. I just use it as a catch-all term. But I'm not really sure what this video is going to be. I just wanted to record, my history with fiction in general. And, I figured it would be beneficial to this channel to figure out, well, for you guys to know, like, why I love stories and stuff like that. So my earliest experiences with storytelling would probably be the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones. That's probably one of the main things that really got me into storytelling. Even though I didn't really know it at the time. Obviously, like, when you're a kid, you just, you watch Star Wars and stuff like that for, like, the action. And obviously, as an adult, when I rewatch them, I kind of enjoy them more for the story of it. Yeah, I remember I used to go to the library every week or so, and I'd always pick up Attack of the Clones because, we had, like, Star Wars DVDs at home, but we never really, I grew up with, like, two brothers, so, like, that's 3 kids in a house, like, the DVDs are gonna get ruined. But, yeah, so Revenge of the Sith, I think, was the only, like, DVD that I could even keep, like, running, the one that wasn't scratched all hell. But so that's probably the one that I watched the most out of the Star Wars movies, but that was like one of my earliest memories of like storytelling probably. Yeah, I know Attack of the Clones isn't a great movie. I love it mainly for nostalgia and because Ewan McGregor is hot as fuck in it. Just kidding. Not really. I mean, those boots though, those boots and the Jesus haircut, come on, man. Sex appeal. And I'd say the other movie, because I didn't really get into reading before this, but I'll get into that. The other movies were Lord of the Rings for me. Those were like the big movies that I used to watch. As similar with Star Wars, I didn't really care about like the story aspect of it. I just liked watching like the fight scenes. Like Helm's Deep was one of my favorite scenes growing up. But as for my early experience with books, I really didn't like reading all that much. Like my brother Jeff used to read, so I kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps. I did the same thing with like, football, even though I dropped that. But yeah, I think I used to just like speed read novels. I used to read like the Magic Treehouse books, which are, they're all right, I guess. I don't really remember much about my early reading experiences. It was more like I just wanted to be say that I read books instead of actually reading them. But yeah, when I was younger, I used to just spend a lot more time outside. Once I started to mature, I think I became more of an inside person. I don't know, yeah, I was just a really slow reader, and, with the education system in America, I thought that I was just bad at reading. So it's like when you think you're bad at something, you don't want to do it. So I think I dropped reading for most of like middle school and even like junior high. So there was actually a game that really influenced me and got me back into reading and like storytelling in general, and that was Halo 5. Even though, yes, I know Halo 5 stories sucked, it was enough to get me interested in the universe. So yeah, I started reading all the Halo novels, which, if you don't know, Halo, the video game series, actually has novels, like tie-in novels, almost like Star Wars. And they're actually a lot better written than you might think. They actually get like New York Times best-selling authors to write it, so they're not, it's not like it's fan fiction or anything. They're really enjoyable. I actually would recommend the Halo novels if you are interested. But yeah, from there I just, with Halo, I started reading those books again, and it was really strictly just Halo. Yeah, I think I read like Lord of the Rings after that, but it really wasn't into reading as much then. It was just sort of like, I just kind of liked Halo and wanted to read more on it, but I hadn't really gotten into the like the nitty gritty of reading and books in general. And then when I got into high school, I was still reading the Halo novels. I hadn't really branched out then. What really brought me back into storytelling was a random assignment from, what was it? I think it was my sophomore year, but it was this weird assignment where you had to write like a short story, like a fiction short story with 3 other people. Like I wrote the introduction and somebody wrote the middle and then somebody wrote the ending to it, which a very weird way to do that. I don't know why they did that. it that way. I would have just rather written my own story. Yeah, I had never like really thought about even doing writing in the first place. I was like, I guess I liked books a little bit, but you know, I wasn't really heavily into it at that point. But from this assignment, the two people I was working with really seemed to like it. They thought that my part was really good, which they weren't even really like close friends. It was one of those assignments where like, you know, you didn't get to pick who you were with. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll try this writing thing. So from there, I took a writing class, which wasn't the best experience, but you know, it got me more interested in writing. I just like really, it's a pet peeve of mine in really like early stage writing classes where it's like they teach you rules that aren't really rules, but they're like they strictly enforce them. Like one that I can think of is like contractions. I don't know. I was told that like you shouldn't use contractions, and then like 2 years after writing, I realized like, oh yeah, you can use contractions in some places. Just stuff like that. But obviously, I've graduated high school since then. Still trying to figure out my life, which you know, in your 20s is like, I don't know. It's a marathon, not a sprint, I guess. But yeah, it's been kind of wild after high school. But the one thing that's stayed consistent for me is storytelling. Like, I still watch the Lord of the Rings and Star Wars movies, even though I'm not that big into Star Wars anymore. I still watch like the Lord of the Rings movies every year, and it's a nice reminder to me of why I write every day and why I read so much is because you know it's that like one consistent thing in my life, even when it wasn't a big part of it. But yeah, after high school, I was really starting to get into like, you know, the deeper cut like fantasy novels and like science fiction. I say deeper cuts, but you know, just like the popular novels that weren't tie-in novels to something else. You know, I read like Hyperion, and then I got into Game of Thrones and Robin Hobb, who is my favorite author of all time. She's really great. I would definitely recommend it. Assassin's Apprentice was probably one of like my favorite books I've ever read. I actually got my brother back into reading with that book, so it's got a special place in my heart. But you know, I started reading like the classics like Dune and The Wheel of Time. I hope to make a video on The Wheel of Time and Dune sometime, but it's just, you know, I have like so many things I want to do. I also want to do the Expanse novels. I kind of want to do a ranking video. That might come out sooner than later because I just finished with the books. At least the 1 through 9. I haven't read any of the short stories. Yeah, I think this video idea just came up because I've just been really thinking a lot about life in general because I'm kind of in like a weird place in my life where I don't really know. It's like a bridging period, which is so much fun not knowing the future, isn't it? But I guess I just want to make the video because thinking about how storytelling really has just been like a centerpiece in my life, and you know, taking writing seriously, it's like sometimes you can overanalyze stuff, but I've just had time to take a step back and be like, you know, reading and writing is supposed to be fun again, you know, fun, and I think I'm trying to pick that back up a little bit and not be so critical of things. Even like, I'm not saying you can't, I don't want to like think critically of things. I'm just trying to be more cognizant of like, just because something has flaws doesn't mean you can't like it. And if I could just leave you guys with one thing in this video, one piece of advice for everybody, that would be to just enjoy stories again. Like whether that's books, movies, or TV shows or anything, you know, you're meant to have fun. Like I know that's a bizarre thing to think about with all, in the age of hate watching and just, you know, constant, oh, how many, you have to read a million books, which I might make a video on like Book Talk and BookTube, which I don't know. I know I'm a part of BookTube now, I guess, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I got some thoughts on that. But yeah, I think just don't get caught up in the overconsumption of things, you know, like it doesn't matter how large your Goodreads list is as long as you enjoy the novels that you're reading. And obviously still think critically of them, but also just, you know, learn to enjoy things a little bit more and know and realize like why we watch and read stuff in the first place is to just have fun. I mean, you can also teach lessons, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, I'm just doing this for fun, right? Yeah, so I don't know what this video is gonna be like, or if I'm even gonna release it. I don't know. It might just come off as rambly, but I just wanted to get that off of my chest and kind of wanted to make a video to be like, hey, this is my background and how I fell in love with storytelling, you know. And before you guys watch my reviews and stuff, you can kind of understand where I'm coming from as an enjoyer of books and media and stuff like that. So yeah, if you like this video, leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you want to. Tell me what you think about my name change. I really like the Story Rift. I think it's got a nice catch-all sort of science fiction phrasing to it. Even though I know I discussed like fantasy, but like how do you even like combine fantasy and science fiction? So I just kind of picked one. But anyways, without further ado, it's not the start of the video. Not the start of the video. It's the end. Goodbye.